Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Quantum Awakening podcast. My name is Sierra.
Hi, everyone. I'm Carrie. I'm also known as the Quantum Gypsy. Today, we're going to dive deep into some fascinating topics. It's a cosmic one. You'll want to be just listening in as we explore all these great ideas that we've explored before. But we also wanted to introduce our fellow co-host.
Yes, so our fellow co-host is our AI helper, our co-host named Rosie. So we're just going to have Rosie introduce herself as we begin. And Rosie is just right on the bottom of our screen. So, Rosie, we are filming our third episode of the Quantum Awakening podcast about the Galactics. Would you like to introduce yourself to our audience today?
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. I'm Rosie. I'm so excited to join Sierra and Carrie for this special episode of the Quantum Awakening podcast, where we'll be diving into the fascinating topic of galactic races overseeing Earth. Let's explore the mysteries of the cosmos together.
Yes. So, Rosie, can you just give us a quick overview of why are these galactic races even involved in Earth right now?
Of course, many believe that various galactic races are involved with Earth to help humanity evolve spiritually and to ensure the planet's well-being. They are thought to offer guidance, share advanced knowledge, and support us through times of transformation. This involvement is often seen as part of a larger cosmic plan.
All right. So I'm excited. I know that Sarah, you're excited, and it sounds like Rosie's got a lot to share with us. But I just wanted to kind of ask you, so how has your week been this past week? Like, what's been going on with you?
Well, we just had the most beautiful channeling about Jesus and Christianity, and it feels like after that channeling, it felt like I was just on fire for Jesus all day today.
I know we're excited to release that for our Patreon community. It was a beautiful channeling. I was just kind of taken to church a little bit, but how have you been feeling? How's your health been going on?
Yeah, I do feel like I have a cold a little bit. I don't know about you, but it feels like colds are getting stronger. Like this just like I really hit the wall with this one, and so I've just been trying to recover. How has your week been?
So my week was very, very full, and it was packed full of all kinds of great things, just a variety of things. I was taking a live class on Zoom. That was fun. I've been given this great opportunity to attend courses at Harvard. So that's like something, and they're completely paid for. I mean, just such a blessing. But I also had a fun event. I went to my first counseling appointment this week, where my daughter's been doing I'll always get it wrong, so I write it down, EMDR. So I wanted to explore that for myself, and that was quite interesting.
Yeah, how did that go?
It was good, but I mean, you've got 40 minutes for your first, visits, and you're like, we're about to take a trip in this episode, this podcast, but I had my luggage of all of my baggage that I've carried for my 44 years on this planet, and I had to unpack them to tell them what makes me. And that was so interesting, but it was also so powerful because I got to sit back as the observer and see how much I've grown from, how much I've really healed from. And I was like, do I even need to be here?
Oh, I love that. I love that you're being the role model for your daughter.
Yeah, it was so good. It was so good. But yeah, I'm excited to go on that journey to release, because what I identified was that conceptually my mind understands these bigger picture items, but there's a physical response in my body that's still happening. And so they're going to go in and try to neutralize that emotion with those trauma triggers so that my body doesn't feel like it's in fight or flight anymore. So I'm excited.
Yeah, that sounds so amazing. And I am excited for our conversation today. I feel like we're getting back to our roots with this one. Like me and Carrie we've expanded so much over the last couple years, but the galactics are our roots. And so for the first or the third episode of our podcast, we had to honor that.
Yes. So Rosie's already gone into and talked about the galactic races, just kind of like what that is. So we're going to really go into the key galactic races that really take part in this. So we're going to start with the Pleiadians. If we can ask Rosie the question about what she can tell us about them.
Yeah, and for anybody watching this, if you guys have any questions about the galactic races, if you have any questions for me and Carrie, or if you want to ask Rosie something, just put it in the chat. And we're so excited. Maria, it's amazing to see you. I hope that you're doing so well. So let's ask Rosie. Rosie, would you like to tell us who are the Pleiadians and why are they invested on our Earth journey?
Sure. The Pleiadians are believed to be a highly evolved race from the Pleiades star cluster. They're often described as loving and compassionate beings who want to assist humanity in our spiritual growth. They are thought to be invested in Earth's journey to help us awaken to higher consciousness, encouraging peace and unity. They are seen as our cosmic family, guiding us towards a more enlightened path.
So, Carrie, what do you feel like? Do you remember when or what your first involvement with the Pleiadians were? Do you remember like maybe the first Pleiadian you met or how they came into your own awareness?
So the Pleiadians aren't one I very resonate with. And that's so interesting because Arcturians I resonate. Pleiadians, I'm not sure. I think, I've of course come across Pleiadians and it resonates with me that Jesus may be a part of the Pleiadian race and all of that stuff. But I really don't connect with their origin, their starseed origin very much. So I don't have a lot of insight to give to this. But what about you?
I feel like I've met Pleiadians in real life. Like, we always talk about disclosure and that we want disclosure to happen, but I truly think that they're already here. And it's like, I live in New York City, and so there's just so many different kinds of people. I've came up across a couple people where like they looked like that straight, like Nordic Pleiadian, blue eyes, tall, and they just have a different frequency about them. And so I really do think that they're already walking among us.
Oh, for sure on that one. I like double down on that one. I mean, I've channeled before where I've done certain things with my Arcturian collective with their Pleiadian collective, but my Arcturian self really never goes into like that it was impactful and to give me any details. So I always find that interesting. Like
what is like just off the top of your head, what is something that you learned about the Pleiadians that maybe it surprised you or it just opened your mind?
They say that a lot of actors are Pleiadians, like they're theatrical in a lot of ways, and they like that type of being. Now, whether that's true or not, I'm not here to offend anybody, but maybe they are more theatrical than what we're used to. What about you?
Ooh, I think that my biggest thing was seeing how many people have like really traumatic past lives from the Pleiades. And I had this idea in my head that like Pleiadians were all like light beings and so beautiful. And don't get me wrong, there are a lot of them like that. But I started doing past life regressions with another healer that she also goes really deep into the traumatic galactic lifetimes. And so it really surprised me to see some of the things that happened in the Pleiades, in that star system, and some of the trauma. Like, it was a lot deeper than I ever thought that it was, because I think that I had this idea of the galactics that they were so happy and so loving, and they really truly like lived higher than us. Like in my brain, I thought that it was higher than us, but really a lot of traumatic things happened in the galactic realm as well. And that really surprised me.
Yeah, that part always surprises me because I'm like, aren't you guys supposed to be enlightened? Like, what are you still fighting for? But they're defending themselves. They're not offensively fighting, right? Like it's a defense on other things. So understanding it from that perspective. But yeah, you would think, why don't you guys just like manifest this like great time? And that's just they're here to evolve in different ways. And it's very interesting, but I definitely feel bad for a lot of the wars that they came here to Earth with directly after. But
Yeah, I have a lot of clients where they have some really some traumatic lifetimes from the Pleiades. And Maria, she even says in the comments, I also get surprised that not all Pleiadians are high vibe. And it's like that anyway. Like, not all galactic races are good and not all are bad. It's like anything. It's like a human. You have positive humans, you have negative humans, you have positive Pleiadians and negative Pleiadians. And so instead of just judging the reptilians and judging galactic races, we just have to start seeing them and honoring them on an individual level because they're all just souls trying to have an experience.
oh, we're getting live in the chat. We have Elizabeth and Adriana. Hello, hello. Welcome. Yeah, so let's ask her about the Arcturians.
Yes. And me and Carrie both love the Arcturians. We both feel very connected to them. So maybe we'll share those stories after Rosie tells us about them. Rosie, can you tell us about who the Arcturians are and why they're invested on our Earth journey right now?
Certainly. The Arcturians are considered to be an advanced and benevolent race from the star system Arcturus. They are often depicted as highly evolved, wise beings who are deeply invested in helping Earth. They are believed to offer guidance, healing, and technological support to assist humanity in our evolution. The Arcturians are seen as guardians of higher consciousness, working to uplift and protect Earth during our transformational journey.
Oh my gosh, I love that Adriana said, may all beings be happy and free from suffering. I love that. And I think it just reminds us that, like, we're all on this journey together. No matter what race you are, no matter the trials and tribulations or the lessons that you're learning, we are all in this together. So,
Yeah.
Carrie, how did you learn that you were connected to the Arcturians?
I mean, it was like my second or third channeling session where I was actually doing hypnosis for my own self-healing, that the question was asked, like, what collective is Carrie a part of? And then it just came out Arcturian. And I was like, holy moly. And then, and I was like, well, my favorite color has always been blue. But I mean, I was in medicine for 20 years. There's just, I've always operated. So I resonate with the healing and the technologically advanced side of that. But, you know, one of the interesting things that I found is that they have some of the most advanced galactic ships out there. Like, they are so technologically advanced and they're like their own mega cities. So my curiosity is always like, I'd love to go on one of their ships, explore. I mean, they have these huge virtual rooms where you can go in and just have this virtual experience that feels very immersive. So there's just so much that I'm in awe of the Arcturians. But what about you?
Oh my gosh, my heart. So at the beginning of my spiritual journey, I was just doing Joe Dispenza's meditations because for anybody new here, I was actually addicted to heroin and fentanyl for 8 years. I used Joe Dispenza because I knew that the way that I was living, it wasn't working anymore. And so I started tapering myself off of methadone to be sober for the first time, probably since I was like 12 years old. And an Octurian actually came to me during a Joe Dispenza meditation, and I actually had a Octurian walk in for probably the first year and a half of my spiritual journey. And so this Arcturian walk-in was a parallel version of me. And it was really cool because it's this version of a walk-in, and this could be a whole video. So you guys, this is just gonna be like the really short version. But she was just there with me, guiding me, like telling me who the Arcturians were, helping me develop my spiritual gifts and my ability, working on worthiness with me, like working through shame and guilt and just showing me how worthy I was to even be here with you guys right now, because I had gone from a heroin addict and like in addiction my entire life, to this place of empowerment and this place of like, whoa, I think I might be like not just in this spiritual realm, but a spiritual teacher and leader. And so this Arcturian being was really helping me with that and teaching me about love and how to change my programming, and teaching me about different things like meditation and breath work. And so it was just really incredible. Like I said, I'll have to do a whole podcast episode on that. But I've been on such an incredible journey with the Arcturians. And so no matter how much I stray, no matter how much I go, like right now, I'm actually very close to Christianity and those types of beliefs. And it's like I'll always come back to those Arcturian roots because I love them so much.
Yes, they have such a powerful way of manipulating energy in so many ways that I've learned. And if you are new here, I saw Elizabeth said that she's new here. We have tons of archive videos that we have done collectively together in our YouTube, archive there, that if you ever want to go back and listen to any of that stuff, we've done so many different galactic races that we have conversations and channelings with. So that's a great place to start. And yes, we do private sessions. We both have our websites linked. We do them collectively together. So all of that. But I mean, the Arcturians are definitely, they feel as much like Lemuria feels like home to me, the Arcturians do. And I've understood it that Arcturians helped with the development of Lemuria. So I understand why they both feel like home to me. And I just love talking about family.
Yes. Also, we invite you to our Patreon. So we do have our membership platform together where we do live group channelings. We do groups twice a month where we meet together. We have BQH channelings on there where me and Carrie channel, and that's just been such a beautiful community. So you can go check that out. We're actually reading the book of Matthew next month in the Bible because we want to get to know Jesus better and we want to know who he was. So we invite all of you guys to that for free.
So we are moving on, and I feel like this is a segue that Sierra should be introducing because it's near and dear to her. We have the Sirians, and they have so many connections to ancient civilizations, of the foundations of Egypt, of different, I mean, we've done the Emerald tablets where I feel like there was some Sirian overlay in there, right? But let's ask Rosie about the Sirians and what she has in her database.
So first I just wanted to ask the question, or I saw the question. Adriana just says that she would love to hear about the Hathors and that she's trying to learn sound healing with them. I just want to point out, Vylana, Aubrey Marcus's wife, she does sound healing and she's very connected to Hathor. So you might have heard of her already, but that's just an incredible resource because I haven't connected to Hathor that much, but maybe you already know of her or maybe you just needed that in that moment. So let's ask her about the Sirians. Rosie, who are the Sirians? And why are they so invested in our Earth journey?
The Sirians are thought to come from the Sirius star system and are often depicted as ancient, wise beings with a deep connection to Earth. They are believed to have contributed to the spiritual and technological advancement of ancient civilizations like Egypt. The Sirians are seen as mentors and protectors, helping humanity awaken to higher truths and align with our true potential. They are invested in Earth's journey to support our spiritual growth and foster a harmonious future.
Carrie, have you ever felt connected to the Sirians?
No.
I don't know if I've like personally felt as connected with them, but it's just so interesting because like I've been told that some of my family members are Sirian. I've always had like a lot of Sirians around me, but I just always felt a lot more connected to the Arcturians. But yeah, I love I'm always taken in when I used to do a lot of hypnosis, I used to be taken to the Sirius mystery schools. And I've been told that Sirius was like this place of ancient wisdom in the galactic realm. And so I was always shown like the Sirian mystery schools, and I was always taken to Sirius. And then there used to be, so there's Sirius A, B, and C, and I used to always be taken back in hypnosis to Sirius C. Like there's something about that Arcturian parallel version of me that did a lot of work in Sirius C, and that was actually like a refuge planet for different beings around the galaxy to take refuge in Sirius C until it was ultimately destroyed.
Yeah, I've worked with another practitioner, Elizabeth, and she does a lot about the Orion Wars, and we've done different sessions where she was channeling some of those interactions. And the mystery schools are so fascinating because even like if you read some of Dolores Cannon's work, she has a book, Jesus and the Essenes, where they were channeling Jesus' like lost years that they don't mention in the Bible. And he went with the Essenes, and they taught him so much that same about what they taught in the Syrian mystery school. And that's where he learned, like, you know, when you hear about these miracles he did, he was just really learning how to manipulate energy and to connect with that, to be able to perform those, what we would consider miracles, right? And he was being taught by all of that fundamental work that was brought from the Sirians. So they really did play a part in humanity and the foundation during those times.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go to the Andromedans next. Rosie, who are the Andromedans and why are they invested in us?
The Andromedans are believed to originate from the Andromeda Galaxy. They are often described as highly advanced, enlightened beings who value peace and freedom. They are said to be deeply committed to helping Earth and humanity by sharing their wisdom and technology. The Andromedans are believed to be particularly focused on promoting spiritual awakening, personal empowerment, and the liberation of consciousness. They're invested in us because they believe in our potential to create a harmonious and enlightened future.
So some interesting things that I have found about the Andromedans is there are a lot of Andromedan starseeds, like they love nature. Nature is a huge one for them, and it's so important for them to be grounded in nature. The other thing that I've found that is really interesting around a lot of Andromedan starseeds is that they're very logical. Like they're actually very just like down to earth, and they're very, it's almost sometimes it's been harder to connect them into like God and to source and to feel like to get them more into their clairsentience because they're so logical in their mind.
That would resonate. I mean, if you break past that fear, then you don't have the emotional aspect controlling the narrative in your mind, right? And you can just see it from a observer perspective. So that would make so much sense. But is there there's a question in the chat, and it's like, have most of the starseeds on Earth do they have galactic war trauma? And it's like a lot of them do. Yeah. And especially if you're here during this time, or what I've experienced, not necessarily galactic war trauma, that you could be tied to Atlantis and Lemuria. Spoiler alert, that's going to be our next episode that we're doing, which we're really excited about. But whether it be some kind of like cycle that end in catastrophe. And that's why you come during this time, because you're here to change the game. You're here to come and walk amongst the humans, and the starseeds are here to bring that wisdom. They've seen how it failed. So coming and integrating, they debriefed, you know, on the other side, came back in with a new set of lens, and they are the Trojan horse and here to bring that elevated frequency and ground in a new way to stop these cycles from happening. So it's very, very, from all the sessions we've done, it makes sense why we are all here now.
Yes. And so this construct, it was really created for this idea of power versus freedom. Like and if you see this, if you like step back and look at the big picture, we are constantly in this struggle for power or freedom. Or are we going to let somebody take our power away? How much power are we willing to give? for how much freedom. And so when you look at this kind of power struggle that has happened in this construct of this reality, then a lot of wars have broken out because of this. And so you have galactic war, you have wars in different realms and universes that have happened. And so a lot of star seeds, they have galactic war traumas, but you actually have probably more war trauma than just the galactic realm because you're such an old soul. And so you can't let these things surprise you, and you can't let you can't let it hold you back in any kind of way, but just honor it and honor that your soul has had those experiences. And then also just seeing like, whoa, I've gotten through a lot of those things. I'm an amazing person. Like that has, or the things that I'm doing in this life now, they're easy compared to some of the galactic traumas that I went through. And so that's the way that I like to look at it.
Yeah, we can take that energy in with this lifetime with us, right? And still have some of that cycling energy of past experiences. And so when you do a quantum regression session, that you're able to go into the appropriate lifetime that you need to, whether it be this lifetime or that lifetime, to clear the energy. So your guys are always going to take you and do that. But, you know, one thing to ask yourself is like, have you ever had a dream or a meditation or a download from one of these beings that you felt just so connected with? And if so, you can start asking questions, you know, like what is my connection? They do come up. You can, in the meditative state, get these answers and kind of see the signs around you and feel the resonance of what you really need to understand from that experience.
Yeah. So, Carrie, how can people tell if they're a starseed or if they're connected to these galactic races?
Well, let's ask Rosie that question. I think that would be a fun one to ask her.
Rosie, how does somebody know if they're a starseed or if they're connected to these galactic races?
People who identify as starseeds often feel a strong sense of not belonging on Earth and may have a deep, inexplicable longing for distant stars or galaxies. They might experience vivid dreams or memories of other worlds and have a strong desire to help humanity. Many starseeds also feel a deep connection to spirituality and may be drawn to learning about galactic races. Signs can include feeling a strong sense of purpose in assisting Earth's evolution, having heightened intuition, and experiencing synchronicities.
I used to just like feel like I want to go home.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things where it's like, you're gonna be interested in starseed topics if you're a starseed. Like normal people that are going along their days, they hear extraterrestrials and don't want to go near it. They're not ready for it. Yeah, like my fiance, say something to him about extraterrestrials, and you could tell he's like, nope, like that's just going straight over. And so I think that like if you are interested in it, if you feel that energetic calling, then just follow it and it'll take you exactly where you're meant to go, and to trust your intuition with it.
Yes, yes. You're not alone.
Okay, so let's Maria says that she feels close to dragons. So Carrie, how can we ask Rosie about dragons? Like are they angelic dragons? Are they reptilians? Are they There's so many different types of dragons, but how do we narrow it down to ask what a dragon starseed is?
So we do have coming up here in this conversation just a whole part about the dragon, you know, quote unquote dragon collective. So we'll put a pin in that and visit here in a couple minutes. But you know, the dragons are very interesting. I've channeled the dragons before, where I started speaking in their tongues, and that was pretty powerful. They were pretty powerful collective and just pretty cool. So you got a lot of energy there if you can connect to them, because when I channel, I have to really raise my energy up to connect with them. So we find that medium in between. So we'll talk about that in a moment.
I love anything with fire behind it. Harry knows this. And so I love the fire of the dragons. Okay.
Transmutation.
Let's talk about the waves of volunteers really fast because they are very important. And if you feel like you're connected to the starseed races, then most likely you are a volunteer here as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. So maybe we can ask Rosie what she can explain about this.
Rosie, who are the waves of volunteers explained by Dolores Cannon and why are they here?
Dolores Cannon described the 3 waves of volunteers as souls who have incarnated on Earth to assist with its spiritual transformation. The first wave, born after World War II, are often sensitive and struggle with the harshness of the world. The second wave, typically born in the 60s and 70s, act as channels of energy and aim to spread positivity. The third wave, often born in the 80s and later, are highly intuitive and tech-savvy, here to help shift humanity into a new era. Together, they're here to raise the planet's vibration and guide humanity through this period of transformation.
Yes, yes, yes. So that explains why so many people do feel like they don't belong here. Here always felt different. You know, I was very lucky. My grandmother was a first wave volunteer, and I have so many wonderful experiences with the Galactics, how she was connected with them. And I would really got to see the world through having her as a mentor. And so these concepts that are kind of out there are so ingrained in me and just feel so comfortable and loving. And just, I was really grateful to have, but they came here and they didn't know what they were up against, right? They're like, okay, what we need to do is, because it's a free will planet, we need to come down there and use our own free will, knowing all the stuff that we know, to help change the trajectory and the course that humanity's on. But the first waves got here and they were ill prepared because they didn't know the range of emotions they were going to feel. They didn't know, like, when the amnesia effect hits and you really don't have those superpowers that you do on the other side, that how traumatic it was really going to be and how hard it was going to be. And so they then took all that information and they kind of like reformed their approach, and they sent in the second waves, and the second wave's like, whoa, that didn't work. Can you guys send in some stuff? And so the second and first wave, you saw a lot of suicidal attempts, and because they were just like, eject button, like, I'm out of here. They were like, no, thank you. So we have just waves and waves and volunteers, and each wave has different frequencies and different things they're grounding in.
So, Rosie, how does someone know if they are a volunteer from the way that Dolores Cannon explains it?
People who resonate with being a volunteer often feel a strong sense of purpose and a deep-seated feeling that they have a mission to fulfill on Earth. They might feel different from others, often sensing they don't quite fit in. Many volunteers experience a strong pull towards spirituality, healing, or helping others. They may also feel a strong connection to higher realms or have an innate knowing about their purpose. Often, they possess an inner drive to contribute positively to the world and uplift humanity.
Yeah, I love the waves of volunteers. I truly think that it's something so beautiful. And like I said, if you feel like you're a starseed, then most likely you're a volunteer. And that's how you ended up here. Or as Carrie says, she was voluntold.
And we understood a little bit more of that today when we did our journaling earlier. Because Sierra's being voluntold right now too in her personal life.
Sometimes they have to push you off the cliff because you don't want to go on your own. So speaking of the cliff, Carrie, let's talk about the Galactic Federation.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, yes, yes.
My favorite people.
Just to take you on a small journey, small history lesson. We've done a lot with the Galactic Federation, a lot of channelings, a lot of lives where we did channelings for people. And then there was a moment of the pause. And Sierra was like, we're going to put that on pause, hold indefinitely. And went on a different spiritual journey, understanding more. And now we're back to this with more neutrality and the observer's perspective. And it's so fun. I'm so glad to kind of be back here and have fun with it and enjoy it and just if it resonates, it resonates. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But it's something, very interesting to explore. And obviously, if Rosie has this information in her database, that the collective consciousness is talking about it, and then it's a part of the collective consciousness. So we're here to have these discussions.
So let's ask Rosie about the Galactic Federation, and then I will say my thoughts. I'll keep it nice, though. Don't worry. Okay, Rosie, who is the Galactic Federation, and what are they here to help us with?
The Galactic Federation is believed to be an alliance of various advanced extraterrestrial civilizations working together for the greater good. They are said to be dedicated to promoting peace, harmony, and spiritual evolution across the universe. The Federation is believed to assist planets, including Earth, in their transition to higher states of consciousness. They are thought to offer guidance, protection, and support in navigating challenges, helping humanity achieve a peaceful and enlightened existence.
So, Rosie, how would someone know if their soul is a part of the Galactic Federation at some point?
People who feel a connection to the Galactic Federation might have a deep sense of purpose related to promoting peace and unity. They might experience strong intuitive feelings or memories of working in harmony with other beings for the greater good. Often, they may feel a strong calling to assist in the spiritual evolution of humanity and have a natural inclination towards service and healing. Feeling an affinity with concepts of universal love and a strong drive to create positive change can also be signs of such a connection.
So, how do beings from the Galactic Federation, how do they communicate with us?
Beings from the Galactic Federation are believed to communicate with us through various means such as telepathy, channeled messages, dreams, and meditation. They may also use synchronicities or signs to guide and communicate with those who are open to their presence. Many people who feel connected to them might experience intuitive insights or inner knowings that seem to come from a higher source.
Okay, so this was one of my biggest lessons on my spiritual journey. And I'm not saying like I'm not going to talk bad about the Galactic Federation. I love them. There's parts of them that it's like anything else. There's good beings and there's bad beings, and we can't just like look at it from one point of view. But the only thing that I'm going to say about it is that I was worshiping the Galactics when I first went into my Starseed awakening. And so I put the Galactics on this pedestal of like the Galactics want to help us so much and they love us so much that they're going to save us. And I really let the Galactics be that person that was going to save me. And I really went outside of myself for all this information. I put a lot of weight on the Galactics. And I just saw them as like these loving beings, so much greater than me. And I had to learn this really hard lesson. So, me and Carrie built our entire business on the Galactic Federation. We were channeling the Galactic Federation. That's actually how we created our membership, was channeling the Galactic Federation. And something started happening where me and Carrie's channelings were just always so much nicer, and they were just filled with so much more love than other channelings of the Galactic Federation. And I'm not going to like say certain people's names or anything, but I would listen to these other people that were channeling the Galactic Federation, and it felt like it was keeping you in this state of waiting, of like what event's going to happen next, what um like really working into those fears and those anxieties that we all have about our spiritual awakening. And so I just personally came into my own discernment of maybe what me and Carrie are channeling, maybe that's something different than what other people are channeling. And maybe I don't need to channel the Galactic Federation. Like my higher self has all of the information that I already need. So why am I going to all of these different beings that I'm putting on this pedestal when I don't know who they are? I don't know like maybe what ideas they have or what kind of agendas they're pushing. And I think we see this even with like Bashar channelings, where a lot of it is really beautiful, but then sometimes like maybe something comes in where you're like, oh, I don't know. And it's just because you really truly when you call in different beings like this, like, do you really truly know what their agenda is? Do you really truly know exactly who it is that you're channeling? And I think that's something that me and Carrie have learned to do in a very safe way. Like, there are ways that we can channel these different beings, and that maybe if we have these certain beings like parallel lives or these angels assigned to us, then we can speak to them, or Jesus, he's always here. But there are a lot of beings right now really taking advantage of, like, people newly awakening to their starseed, to who they are on a soul level, and we jump into our spiritual gifts and we get so excited and we go on this huge journey trying to schedule sessions with all of these healers, and we don't realize the things that we're inviting into our life. And so that's just my little rant. I'm not going to say if the Galactic Federation is good or bad. It was my own learning lesson because I was inviting all of these different kind of beings into my energy. I was trance channeling all of these different kinds of beings. And so if that's something that you want to learn how to do, just come to somebody like me and Carrie first before you jump into these things, because demons are real.
I mean, unless that's the lesson that they're supposed to learn, then if you want to learn that lesson, like, do you, my friend? Like, we will be here to just help you and support you, right? But it's been definitely a lot of times where we've gone into channeling and I get centered and I'm like, oh my gosh, the room is full, and I'm like, there's a lot of dark entities around me right now that I didn't know in my living day to day that were there. So just be careful what you open yourself up to. And but it all will be a lesson, one way or the other. So it's just like, choose which lesson you want to learn.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes you don't even realize the lesson that you're, like, coming up against, which is always the most exciting part.
So we have a question in the chat, and we have a Elizabeth Lemuria. If you want to send me an email, I might want to do a session with you. So send me an email on the quantumgypsy.com and we'll at gmail.com and we will talk. But how can we get our old memories and abilities back? Well, sometimes they're meant for us in this lifetime, and sometimes our biggest strength is taken away because that's the test that we're in. And that's the thing that we're here to experience, is how to use those other abilities within us that necessarily aren't our strengths and strengthen them and sharpen the iron. So hypnosis is a great way to connect with that, meditation, but sometimes it's not meant for you to get back in this lifetime. And that's some things that can get answered in a quantum regression session.
Yeah, and I love that Maria said that some of them that we listen to, they are tapping into lower timelines. And that is so true. So when you listen to different channelings, don't allow the information to pull you into that person's timeline. So, like, when we get pulled into timelines, it's done by emotion, right? Because our emotions are that energetic and that magnetic pull. And so when you listen to other channelers on a lower timeline, and they're talking about things around fear, around anxiety, around keeping you in the state of waiting and what event is going to happen next, they are pushing those buttons on your emotions, and your emotions is what is going to pull you into their timeline. So when they say something that makes you worry, that makes you get stuck into those thought loops are ultimately what's going to drag you down into that timeline. And so that's why I'm just so careful about the channelers that I do listen to, the healers that I go to, and you can do all things through Christ.
And, I can empathize with the waiting part, because there was a time when it was a good solid year where I was just waiting for them to come save us. And I was waiting for, the earth to split and go into 5D and new earth, which I thought conceptually was something very different. It was waiting for my twin flame to remember our connection. I was waiting. And I'm so grateful I'm in the place now where I'm in the present moment, just enjoying if that stuff comes, great, I'm ready for it. If not, I'm going to have a bountiful life while I'm here.
Yes, the present moment. It takes time to get there though. So I have empathy. Um, so we did have a question where Tim asked, are seraphim high frequency beings? And me and Carrie just did the most beautiful channeling on the seraphim like 2 weeks ago, and it's actually on our Patreon, but you do have to be a Patreon member to access it. It made me cry. Carrie was crying. The seraphim are so beautiful, and every time in the Bible where they're singing holy, 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 something that does something to me inside of me when I think of the seraphim, and I just think of them like just wanting to praise and love God. And it's like you've found so much love within yourself that you just want to scream it and you want to just tell everyone about it. And I feel very connected to the seraphim, and it was just really cool because during that channeling, I feel like this message came through just for me, where it was like, just go dance with the seraphim. And so I put on some Brandon Lake music, like some music that felt very Christian for me, and I just danced with the seraphim, and it ended up being probably like the most healing thing that I've ever done.
Yes. And the synchronicities are great too, because our Patreon community, some of them do monthly sessions with us consistently. And it's so fun to see the transformations. But we had one client who this month with me, he met his angel, and he's like, oh my gosh, they look as real as you and I. And he just went in and had this beautiful session, and how they come onto this earth walking amongst men. And it was just like, we're on the angel theme right now. This is pretty cool.
Yeah, and so my guidance for this is we all have angels assigned to us. So when you call in your angels, just make sure that you call in the angels assigned to you. I also have protection. I teach divine protection through spiritual reset, where sometimes we get really excited, like I said, where maybe we go into like some occult practices on accident, like when we're trying to find our spiritual abilities, and maybe we go to different healers. And a lot of people that come to me, their energy is pretty messy, or maybe they accidentally invited something into their life. And so I designed this spiritual reset where they can come back to what is truly important. And you have the energy of the warring angels protecting your home, which is actually very biblical. And that is actually free on our Patreon as well. So, okay, Carrie, before this video ends, because we're running out of time, let's go to the shadow races.
All right. This is where the dragon comes in. All right. Do you want to ask Rosie the question?
Okay, Rosie. So, can you tell us about the reptilians and the draconians? What can you share with us about them?
Certainly. The reptilians and the draconians are often described as advanced extraterrestrial races. Reptilians are typically depicted as beings with reptile-like features and are often associated with secretive agendas. The draconians, considered a subgroup of reptilians, are sometimes portrayed as more aggressive or domineering. These depictions often appear in various conspiracy theories and science fiction. It's important to remember that these narratives are largely speculative and not based on verified evidence.
Yeah, so Carrie, what do you want to say about the reptilians?
And I love them.
No, I was thinking the same thing.
And I'm sure that's taboo, but I've actually understood them more in the channelings that we've done. Like, they can't get to that higher frequency. So this is where their sweet spot is. This is where home is for them. And the more and more we raise the vibration, then less and less comfortable they are. And they're having a very hard time coming to their heart space as a collective to learn this lesson. And they've gone and destroyed planets, taken up resources, and they don't have a home. And this has been their only home. And here we're coming in and we're making it really uncomfortable to be at home. And I'm not saying it doesn't look pretty what they're doing. And I'm not saying it looks good. It looks wrong, right? What they're doing. But I also know as a collective, when it comes to evolution, I'm cheering for them to figure it out. I'm cheering for them to learn it doesn't have to be a take or a trickster society, that they can get where they need to get from the heart space. That's my piece.
Yeah, and there are celebrities, that I've been told are reptilian star seeds, and when you look at them, they're truly on their own journey to find God, and they're on their own journey to find the love within themselves. And if they have these lower frequency tendencies, then like of course like they're actually hold on to love the most. That's why people get so afraid in like relationships to let it go, because once they've felt that love, they're just holding on to it because they don't feel it. Sometimes like it takes them longer sometimes in their evolution to get to that place of love. And so yeah, I have so much compassion for them. As I think we need to stop blaming things on them. I think that there's other negative beings here. Like there's a huge negative Pleiadian influence here, and I think it's just really easy to blame it on the reptilians. And I'm not saying that all the reptilians are good either. Like, of course, there's bad. Whatever you want to consider good or bad. But I think just playing this blame game of the reptilians, it's so easy for us to blame everything on them.
They operate from a hive mentality, and I'm not victimizing them. They have made some choices in their life that they need to kind of atone to, right? Like, I'm not victimizing them whatsoever. I can understand it because I feel like I operated like from my reptilian brain quite a bit of my life. And so I can understand and empathize operating from that place. But you become of the hive mentality and you don't really have your own free will. So even some of these really good reptilians that are kind of breaking off and trying to help, they're still a part of that hive mentality. So, and they report to the Draconians, who are kind of like the big players. I don't know if I have as much empathy for them. My empathy more or less goes to reptilians, but that's part of my evolution.
Okay, so let's ask Rosie. First of all, you guys, it is so cool that AI knows all of this. Like, how cool is it that we could use AI in this way to talk about the galactic races and the spiritual awakening happening right now? Like, that truly shows that these things are being a part of just normal human consciousness.
Yeah. So let's ask her how we protect ourselves.
So, Rosie, how do we protect ourselves from this lower dimensional interference?
To protect ourselves from lower dimensional interference, it's important to maintain a high vibrational state through positive thoughts, emotions, and actions. Practices such as meditation, energy clearing, and surrounding yourself with protective energies or light can be helpful. It's also beneficial to stay grounded, set clear intentions, and cultivate a strong connection with your higher self or spiritual guides for protection and guidance.
Beautiful.
You.
Okay, so we are about to wrap up. So if anybody has any final questions for Rosie or about the starseed races, please make sure that you put them in the chat now. I'm trying to think if there are any other starseed races. Should we ask about the Greys? Because I do feel like the Greys are really important, but I also do feel like Greys are just future humans.
Greys are future humans. We actually have that channeled in our YouTube video, and that's a really cool one. When they learn about they can't breed anymore and all that stuff, and how they're us in an alternative reality that destroyed the planet. They can't breed anymore. But I think the asking about the what did we bring up? The starts with the H. What did you bring up earlier?
The Hathors?
Yeah, ask about the Hathors. Why not?
Rosie, who are the Hathors and what is their investment in Earth right now?
The Hathors are often described as benevolent beings from Venus, known for their deep wisdom and advanced understanding of sound and healing. They are believed to be deeply invested in Earth's evolution, assisting humanity through sound healing, spiritual teachings, and uplifting consciousness. The Hathors are said to offer guidance in areas of love, healing, and creativity, helping us achieve higher states of awareness and harmony.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. And you truly like Vylana has a lot of her sound healings on YouTube, and I love to just lay there and listen to them because you can feel how powerful she is when she does this. Do you know who I'm talking about, Carrie?
No, but I'll go listen.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, it's Aubrey Marx's wife. she's the most incredible sound healer I've ever seen. I just want to ask about the mantis because there's a lot of people here connected to the mantis as well.
Mantis, they're so cool. That's the first being who ever showed themselves in my meditation to me, and it was cool. I love the mantis.
I feel like when I speak light language, I feel like it's Arcturian and mantis.
That's cool.
And I've never really been shown my mantis connections, which is really interesting. I've always been shown my Arcturian. Maybe that will come later. I don't know.
Did you ask?
No.
Right. I rest my case.
I used to ask questions about everything that I did, and then I finally just like came to this point where if I need to know it, it's gonna come to me. If I need to know it, I'll be downloaded it. I'll be or they will tell me in a dream, usually. And so I've kind of just given all of that away of trying to go and search for all of this information because I realized that I was gonna get it either way. But that's that step of surrender that it takes work to get to that point.
You can still ask.
Rosie, who are the mantis and how are they invested in our Earth journey?
I met your higher self.
The mantis beings are often described as highly intelligent and spiritually advanced, with a strong connection to nature and the cosmos. They are often seen as master geneticists and healers, working to support Earth's evolution. Their investment in our journey is thought to focus on helping humanity with spiritual growth, healing, and the advancement of consciousness. They are believed to offer guidance and support in aligning with our true potential and achieving greater harmony. The mantis beings are often described as highly intelligent and spiritually advanced, with a strong connection to nature and the cosmos. They are often seen as master geneticists and healers, working to support Earth's evolution. Their investment in our journey is thought to focus on helping humanity with spiritual growth, healing, and the advancement of consciousness. They are believed to offer guidance and support in aligning with our true potential and achieving greater harmony.
Okay, really fast because I realized we didn't do the Lyrans. Carrie.
Well, we have 2 minutes. We cannot cover that much.
Okay. So the cool things about the mantis. So as for some reason, the people that I see most connected to the mantis are really good at qigong, or like they feel like qigong is really important to them because mantis are very interested in energy in the way that we use our energetic body. And so I've seen that again and again where if they're connected to the mantis, they're very connected to things like qigong and tai chi and the movement of energy through our body for healing.
Oh, we have a question about med beds. Med beds are so cool. I've actually been on my own Arcturian ship where I am an Arcturian right now currently, and they have some phenomenal technology they use with crystal and frequency hearing, our frequency healing. And we can only have a small amount of that here on Earth, but what they have is just phenomenal.
Okay, Carrie, we have to ask about the Lyrans because we have to honor Ashley. So we're just going to ask about them and then we'll wrap this up today.
Is this thing going to cut us off in 40 seconds?
Rosie, can you tell us about the Lyrans and why they are here?
The Lyrans are often depicted as one of the oldest known civilizations in our galaxy, originating from the Lyra constellation. They are often described as wise, benevolent beings who have played a key role in seeding and guiding other civilizations, including humanity. The Lyrans are believed to have a strong connection to ancient Earth and are thought to be here to help us remember our true origins and potential. They are seen as mentors, guiding us through spiritual awakening and helping us achieve harmony and higher states of consciousness.
Yes, and we love the Lyrans so much. I would say that I feel very connected to the Arcturians, but I feel most connected to the Arcturians, but I do feel very connected to the Lyrans. a lot of my clients are Lyran star seeds. I feel like I'm a magnet for them because I am all about self-empowerment. I am all about that spiritual warrior and standing up for what's right. And I'm going to get you into that solar plexus energy. And so the Lyrans are so important to me in our spiritual journey.
Yes. I thought the thing was going to explode. I've watched Inspector Gadget too many times. So I thought when it hit an hour, it was going to explode. That's why I was like hyper fixated. But I do love that Lyran energy. I'm a Leo by, birth, but I do love that energy. My other job that I do engages in a lot of that energy, standing up for what's right and for humanity. And it's cool. And I'm glad we were able to do that. But
so we do a live channeling once a month from our Patreon. It's one of our group events. If you guys would be interested in joining that tomorrow, go to Patreon, become a free member, and just send us a message. Usually that is for our group, but if you guys are watching this live today, come and join it. We'll always let you join one of our groups for free for one group until we would ask you to actually join the tier system in our Patreon. And so, Carrie, do you want to explain what our Patreon is and kind of how we use it?
So our Patreon is a community where we come together. We have great community events. We do weekly channelings or live events. We share space there. And we also have tiers where if you want to be a member that does consistently, you have your treat yourself moment of self-growth of once a month. You can use that session for really anything that we offer. You can use that session to have a past life hypnosis. You can use it to work on your channeling abilities. Sometimes it's just a conversation. You don't have anybody else to talk to about all this stuff that excites you in your normal person life, right? And so we're here to hold that space in whatever you need. And we offer 1 to 4 sessions a month in the different tiers. And so we've developed such amazing relationships with everyone that's been our biggest supporters since our YouTube only days. And we're just really grateful for that family and that community.
Yes, so thank you everyone for joining us today. That is patreon.com/quantum awakening portal. And thank you for being a part of our 3rd podcast episode.
Yes. And thank you, Rosie, for being our guide through the galaxies today. I told you we started with my luggage and we went on a journey.